Welcome everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I'm here at the Bloomington Yoga Collective, and here it is biking season. So I'm going to give you a short stretching routine that you can do right after your ride or on your off day just to feel good, open up the front of the body, especially the hip flexors, the quads, and the front of the shoulders. So we're going to start out on our hands and knees. So just line up your knees right underneath your hips. Line up your hands right underneath your shoulders. Pressing the tailbone away and the top of your head in the opposite direction. And then we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, turn the tailbone up, drop the belly, pull the heart between the arms, look up. And then exhale, reverse, tuck your tailbone under, drop your chin. Couple more long, slow breath. Inhale. And exhale, doming the spine. Inhale, draws the heart forward. And exhale, pushes the belly button toward the spine. Come back to neutral. And then stretch out your right leg, tucking your toes. And we'll take the left arm forward and then up toward the sky for a twist. Reaching, lifting the fingertips. And then exhale, take it back down, second side. Stretching the left leg back. Right arm reaches up. Big inhale here. And exhale, bring it back down. Now stretch out the fingertips and move the arms a little bit further apart. We'll tuck the toes under and come into downward dog. Now if your hamstrings are tight, keep your knees bent here. So begin with a bent knee, moving your chest toward your legs, dropping your head, and then slowly start to straighten the legs. You can bend one knee at a time, taking the opposite heel down, and then switching sides, pedaling out the legs. Let the head be heavy. Deep, full breath, in and out. And then be still with the legs and see if you can roll your shoulders open away from each other so the inner elbows start to face forward. The head grows heavier, the neck grows longer. And then we'll drop the knees back down and lift the chest up. I'm going to turn towards you and just step the right leg out to the side. So we take a little lunge and start to bend that knee and open into the hip joint. You can even start to roll the leg around a little, almost as if you're stirring the femur in the hip joint. Take it in the other direction. And then drop your elbow down on your knee. Take the opposite arm up to the sky, and then reach it past your ear for a long side stretch. Trying to relax that opposite shoulder down so there's room for your neck. One more inhale, and then exhale back up to kneeling. Switching sides, stepping out, just bending into the hip at first. And then stirring that leg around, getting some mobility in the hip. Taking it in the other direction. And let your elbow come down. Reach your opposite arm up for the sky. And then over alongside your ear. Long side stretch. Creating distance between your rib cage and your hip. Another inhale here. And then bring it back to your downward dog. Stretching back. Sinking the heels. Now let's start to get into those quads. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And then you'll sink your left hip down, pulling the heart forward. Bend your left leg, reach back with your right arm and grab your foot. Quad stretch and a twist here. Some of you may want to come down onto your elbow, deepening the stretch. Keep your breath long and deep. You might want to roll a little to the outside of that leg, roll a little to the inside, changing the angle and finding your tight points. And then releasing the leg. Take your right hand to your right leg and allow that foot to roll onto the outside edge. So we push the leg away and open into the hip even more. And then similar effect, we're going to switch this into a pigeon pose. So right foot is going to come behind this left wrist and then lay the knee down and work your left leg back for pigeon. So you can stay up here or you can come down onto your elbows, maybe even down onto your forehead. Opening up now into the outer right hip. Really deepening the breath, using your exhales to drop into the posture. Allowing the mat to accept your weight. Allowing gravity to take over. And then from here, we'll place the hands back, tuck the left toes, reach your right leg up and back for 3-limb dog. And then bend the knee, open the hip, look under your right arm. Let's bend and straighten the right leg a few times. And at the same time, that left heel is descending. Now turn your chest and your hips to face down. Lift that right leg even more and set it down next to the left foot. Come forward to plank. Slowly lower to your belly. You'll untuck your toes here. Take your hands a little forward so they're about level with your face and a little wider than the mat. We begin with the elbows floating up, and then as you move the elbows down, we lift the chest for a little cobra. Inhale and lift. Exhale, come back down. Couple more. So the elbows drop toward the floor, the chest rises. Exhale and down. One more time. Exhale to the mat. Take your hands under your shoulders, push back through hands and knees, and downward facing dog. Same thing on the second side. Left foot steps outside the left hand. Let your knee come down. Reach around, grab your right foot, stretch out the quad. If it feels good and it's accessible, you could come down onto your right elbow and just roll a little side to side, getting into that quadricep. Now releasing the leg, and we'll press on the knee, letting your left foot roll to the outside edge, opening into the hip. Transitioning into pigeon now. Left foot comes to the top right, knee drops down. You can stay up high or come down to your elbows, maybe your forehead. Once again, sinking in. Feel your hips become heavy. Trusting the mat, trusting the floor to hold you. Deep stretch in that outer left hip. Now placing your hands on the mat again, we'll swing that left leg up, three-limb dog. And then bend the knee, open the hip, under your left arm. And a few times, bending and straightening that left leg. And now with a straight leg, turn your toes, chest, hips down. Let that foot come down, come forward into plank. And lower yourself onto your mat. Now we'll stretch the right arm out at shoulder level, palm down. And you're going to roll onto your right side. So your left foot steps behind you. You get a nice deep stretch into that right shoulder. You can let your head drop and rest. So going just as far as is appropriate for you, stretching out the shoulder joint. Maybe you want to reach back with your left arm as well, reaching in the direction of the right hand, maybe even interlacing your arms here. Breathe and relax, breathe and relax. And come on back to your belly. Now it's the left arm reaching out. Rolling onto your left side, stepping back. Staying right here, or maybe reaching back with the right arm. Maybe even interlacing your fingers. Once again, gravity's doing the work here. And then coming back onto your belly, back through hands and knees. Once more into downward dog. And now walk your hands towards your feet. So you're in a standing forward bend. We'll hang here. Moving some of your weight towards your toes. So your hips come right above your ankles. Now, we can keep the arms right where they are, or reach your arms back behind you, interlacing your fingers. Stretch your arms wherever they'll go. So possibly they're quite close to your back. That's okay. We just want the motion of reaching back. Or they can start to come off your back and down toward the floor. Deep hamstring stretch, intense shoulder stretch. Keep the breath long. And then release the arms if they're interlaced. Soften your knees. Roll your way up slowly. We'll draw the arms up overhead. Inhale. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Lift up and over to the side. Back up through center. Switch hands. Up and over to the side. Overhead once more. Inhale. And then exhale. Bring your hands to your heart center. Good job, everyone.